Welcome to the School Leaders Podcast. My name is Dr. Gastred Harrigan, the podcast for current and emerging school leaders, those who support and supervise them. You will hear from passionate educational leaders who are transforming their schools, communities, and creating positive outcomes for students. I will also share my personal reflections and tips from over 15 years as a school leader. Together, we will talk about how to level up our schools and leadership practices. Hello, welcome to the School Leaders Podcast. This is your host, Dr. Gastred Harrigan. In the last episode, I shared some of the lessons I learned during my first few years as a school principal. In the first episode, I shared a little bit about our school story, our background, and our journey of becoming a premier center. I also shared three vital, important lessons, which are relationship matters. Relationship matters as a school leader. The second strategy I shared was that culture trump strategy. In fact, the culture of your school will eat your strategy for breakfast. So it's important to work and know the culture of your school as a new leader, as a new principal over your school, or a new leader of a department. And the third strategy I shared was that you must set high expectation. You must have a high expectation for yourself, but you must also set high expectation and model those expectations, which also goes to making sure that you hold people accountable to those expectations. If you have not or did not get a chance to listen to episode 1, I encourage you to pause this episode, go back and listen to it. Or after listening to part 2, go back and listen to part 1. So let's dive right in. So lesson number 4 was to seek quick wins. Again, as a new principal, you want to seek quick wins. You know, people bought into the vision. You want to highlight and seek those quick wins. So based on your focus areas that you had, you want to identify the impact they are having school-wide. So you want to make sure to share it, to highlight those different things. And at the end of the day, to get those quick wins, sometimes may require that you realign resources, you redeploy people as needed to meet the pressing needs. Based on the vision, based on the focus area, you may need to move people on that bus to, as I said earlier, to really accomplish or address those big rocks. So seek quick wins and highlight those things. Take time to support teachers and make them feel supported. I like to say there's a difference between supporting people and making them feel supported. So you want to support people, but you want to ensure that they feel supported. And part of them feeling supported is they have an input into what they feel they need as a support. Because oftentimes as school leaders, as principals, we are exerting a lot of energy supporting a specific teacher, supporting a specific staff member, and later on we found out that they felt unsupported. Part of it was we really didn't build relationship. We really didn't listen to them so that we give them the support that they feel they need, or together identifying areas, especially around academic, lesson delivery. If they're not teaching, they're not delivering highly effective lessons, together identifying, weak areas based on the feedback provided. And these are areas of we're going to give you support for both what I feel you need based on the observation, and also what you think you also need. I would also say be strategic. Don't try to go in for after everything. That is why you want to identify 2 to 3, no more than 4 areas, really 2 to 3 areas, big rocks, big areas that you could address that would have school-wide impact. And out of those big areas, you should get your quick wins. Even if it's just changing a procedure that now reduces referral and infraction. You want to celebrate that. You want to take time, highlight it, celebrate it, so that way staff knows that we are making progress. And you got to tell your story. You got to share the things that are actually working, that are improving based on the direction that you are heading. The last lesson I learned as a principal is really you have to have a support network. Having a support network is invaluable at the principalship level. Let me say this again. Having a support network is invaluable at the principalship level. You need to have a support network. For me, I had a group, and I still do, group of colleagues that, some of us were already principals by the time I became principal. Some were still assistant principals, but we moved up the system together. Some of us became teachers at the same time. We went through the AP and the principalship program, and so we supported each other. Almost every quarter, we got together, and really, it was a time for us to support each other, eat, laugh together, and really just take time to really share with each other. We call each other the data chat group, but really we didn't discuss any data. Frankly, we did not discuss any data. It's just that at the time the district was big on data chats, so we call ourselves the data chat group. But really, what was important is that we look forward to that time, and we call each other as we needed each other for support, for ideas, or ways to solve different challenges, different issues. The other thing about the support network is to seek mentors and trusted colleagues. Mentorship is invaluable. Every leader needs a mentor. So make sure that you have mentors. And for me, I met frequently. Most of the time was a phone conference that I had. I will pick up the phone, dial my mentor's cell phone, sometime during the day, sometime in the morning driving in, oftentimes in the afternoon, sharing different challenges that I'm having, gleaning and pulling from my mentors' many years of experience. I still have mentors and will continue to have mentors. There are different type of mentors. There are some you call for specific problem. There are those who guide you overall in your career. But again, this podcast is not about mentorship per se, but beside the fact that you need to have a mentor. The last thing about support network is to spend time with family and friends. This is an area that I really struggled in because my first maybe 2 or 3 years, I spent a lot of time at the school. Over time, you gotta, part of the support network is developing a team, a support team, a leadership team to support you and support your vision. And you really have to learn to, like I did, it took me a while, but to really learn to turn off your email when you go home. Now I prefer stay an extra 30 or even an hour addressing an issue than get home and reopen up my laptop and be tackling, not spending time with my family. I have small kids, but it really doesn't matter if you have small or grown kids. You need to spend time with family. What I like to say is you need to take time to breathe, take time to rest, take time to rejuvenate, refill your tank, because it's very important that you're filling up, because again, as you walk into your building all day long, somebody wants something from you. And then that can be and is depleting. And quite frankly, the principalship job is very taxing. It's very depleting, pulling out of you constantly. So you need to take time to refresh, take time and spend time with family. Just learn to just whatever you didn't address or you didn't tackle, it will be there for you in the morning. So trust me, it will be there waiting for you when you come back the next day. So these are some of the lessons that I learned during my first year as a principal. Number one, we said, was relationship matters. It's all about relationship. Number two, we said culture trumps strategy. Culture eat strategy for breakfast, making sure that you learn and get to know the culture of your school, and obviously learning and addressing the negative, and knowing what you want to address right away and what you want to leave for later. But again, it's just working on the culture of your school becomes very important. Number three, the third lesson was set high expectations, have a vision, identify 2 to 3 focus area collaboratively so you could have buy-in from your staff. Number 4 was to seek quick wins, identify those areas based on the focus areas that you have, and really celebrate those quick wins to build momentum based on the direction for your school. The fifth thing was to have a support network and spend time with family. So there you have it. I hope you are able to learn 1 or 2 things to improve your leadership skills or your leadership practices, ultimately to improve student achievement. Thank you for joining me today. Please consider subscribing to the podcast, leave a 5-star rating and a comment. Share this episode with a friend and on social media. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for leadership ideas and tips. Again, thank you for joining me today. Until next time.